Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is Thursday night, and that means it is time for the online Oval Racing National Hot Rod Series. And we come to you this week from the lovely Northampton Raceway. I'm joined, as usual, by Sarah Austin and Dom Brock. Guys, say hello.
Good
Good
evening, one and
evening.
all.
I wait for you and then we both talk over each other. What
I
a
waited
typical
for
thing.
you too. See, we've organised everything else for the evening apart from the good evening. We should actually organise that one next, shouldn't we?
So there we go. Everyone's being too polite this evening. So Northampton this evening, we are round 6. Can you believe we've had this going for 6 weeks already? We've had some good racing, and do you know what? I can still remember absolutely pulling my hair out at week 1, trying to commentate on my own with no Sarah, no Dom. I can tell you things have become a lot
Yeah, sorry.
easier.
Blame the fridge freezer that's still broken.
But no, you guys being in here, it's definitely made things a lot better, and I think it's made it a lot more comical. So welcome to everyone on the Facebooks and on the YouTubes. As we've said, this is round number 6 of the online Oval Racing National Hot Rod Series. So before we start jumping in and looking at who's going to be racing tonight, what's been kind of your guys' highlights of what we've seen so far in the first 5 rounds?
Well, I've really enjoyed just seeing. I think the best week for me actually was Nuts Corner. That surprised me quite a lot. That such a small track and such a one which will be so difficult for racing has actually come through and delivered some of the best action. It certainly surprised me and produced some upsets on the grid as well. And that was a good solid night of racing. I think it's probably been our best week yet from my personal standpoint.
Well, we've had 2 or 3 weeks, haven't we, where the finals have been absolutely amazing and it's been seat of your pants stuff. But last week's Heat 2, I seem to remember, was just fantastic, with some controversy, as always, as there is in racing.
0.3 of a second, and then you cannot forget the final. Was it final B last week as well, with poor Aaron McGrath getting taken out as he was in quite a commanding position in the lead. So we'll move on from what's happened in the past. It's a brand new week when we can expect some exciting things to come up this evening. I know a lot of the drivers have been looking forward to this track, guys. Which one of you wants to take the lead and start taking us through tonight's grids?
Well, so I've picked that straw for this evening. So Heat 1 from Northampton, and I'm a Northamptonshire girl, so I've been really looking forward to this one. We've got Jake Devlin, 21, who will be our pole man for the first race this evening, followed by Martin in the 91 car, Mintjes, who's one of our South African guys, and Jones Racing 4, where I gather there's a secret in the family to do with that number and that driver appearing.
So for the yellow grades, we've got Sean Taylor, 152, heading up the front there. John Kirkland, 844, in the Billy Boller lookalike car there. We've got South African Jason Loosemore put in some good performances last week. It'll be good to see how he gets on this time round. And then Dobseed 947 with a big question mark as his livery this week. Fingers crossed we'll be able to see it when he's on track.
So, our blues for tonight for Heat 1, we should have had Jordan Larson in the number 12 car, but he is now replaced Sean Cooney, who should appear in Heat 3. So, we'll explain a bit more later on, but we've had a few dropouts, hence us running a little bit late tonight, because every time we have someone cancel on us, we have to realign all the beautiful grids that you see going before you on the screens tonight. So, the first of our blues, anyway, will be Potter 79, followed by Barry Casey. Then we've got Ben Keneally, 210, and Johnny Hammond, the Irishman, in the 50.
So for the red graders, we have Turner 447 at the front, then Tim Close 89, followed up by Jason Q, and then at the back of the red grades, still heartbroken from last week, it's Aaron McGrath.
So your superstars for Heat 1, we have a winner from last week, Cameron 143, that's Cameron Willisey, who was missing his brother last week, but I think he may be back later on this evening, so keep your eyes out for that one. We've then got Sean Jacklin in the number 11, who scored a third last week, so he had a good meeting. Derek Martin in 20, and Yannick Kalansky 193 is the back of your grid for Heat 1.
So that's all of the Heat 1 people. Yeah, Dobbsy, we're still struggling to work out exactly what car he's going to be running. I think he should be in one of the online oval racing, just blank cars. And yeah, we have had a few people drop out. It was Jordan Larson was originally penned into this one, but Sean Cooney, one of our regular racers, has dropped out, unfortunately. And so Jordan is now replacing him in some of the later heats. So it's just some of the fun jiggery pokery that the admins have to do behind the scenes.
It's also worth. I was going to say it's also worth mentioning that Yannick Kalansky wasn't actually billed to be on the back of the grid today. One of the most prominent absentees tonight is the championship leader himself, Noel McFerrin. He has not been able to make this evening's racing. He was going to appear in this first heat at the back, but he's not here. So again, we could be in for possibly another championship leader. He's got a nice buffer there, but certainly we're going to see that championship leader roaded away tonight.
Definitely going to be an exciting one to watch, that's for sure, as I know they're just warming the guys up in the server at the moment. So you guys have had a chance to look at the grid list for Heat 1. Who's your pick? We'll go for you,
I'm
Dom.
going to jump in
no,
first because
Sarah's
Dom just nipped in every time, and I was being polite last week, and then he kept saying who I wanted to say. So sorry, Dom, I'm going to take this one, and I'll let you go next for Heat 2. I'm going with Cameron Willesee 143. Had a really, really good week out again last week and the week before at Nuts Corner. Had some outstanding drives, so he's definitely a force to be reckoned with.
I'm going to go. So I think Aaron McGrath deserves some retribution from last week and the heartbreak he had. I want to see him do well tonight. This heat will be a tough one for him with Willesee, Jacqueline and Martin behind him, Kalansky there as well. He's got to fend them off early on, but I would like to see him do well and come up through the field. Another one who I would like to say as a possible one to look out for is Jason Loosemore there, the second row of the yellows. I think he should be higher than yellow personally. I think he should possibly have broken into the blues. But last week he showed some real good consistent performances, and fingers crossed we see more of that tonight.
I suppose last week was his first week though, Mr. Loosemore. So he hasn't really had that many points as yet because he's not got the aggregates or averages so far. So next week will be interesting to see exactly where he is graded.
So we're having a few technical gremlins which are striking us once again. At the moment, stopping. I think everyone else is in the server. Just means that that we're not in the server, and it kind of makes it hard to show you the action that's happening on track if we're not in server. So I might have to rely on Sarah to they're just restarting the weekend, which basically means they're sort of restarting the meeting. It's due to the skin pack, so the colours that you see on, or the liveries on the cars, they're known as a skin pack online for those of you who are not familiar with that term. For those of you who are, my apologies, teaching you how to suck eggs. But the new skin packs does cause an issue each week. Last week we didn't have new skin packs just for this very reason, but obviously a lot of drivers want their own colours to showcase their own sponsors, so we have allowed them to have new skin packs this week, and there's always gremlins in the system when we do, so bear with us. We're just restarting the weekend, and hopefully we'll be back with you soon. As always, as we keep saying, join us, come and pop your messages on YouTube and Facebook for us. I can see Dorothy McGrath, who's wishing Aaron good luck. She's a regular of ours. Evening, Dorothy. Thank you for all the help you give us throughout the evenings with your knowledge. We've got Jordan Vovinkle saying 1-2-2 for the win. And go on, Barry Casey, says Paul Smith. We've also got Billy Codling asking about Tommy Crome. Let me see if I can look further on. Yeah, I could spot him in Heat 3 there, Billy, so you'll see him later on. So just keep watching, and all the best. Yep, somebody, Dave Watkins, thanks very much for that. Just spotting that we've got
two QEs in the house tonight. We've got young Finley, who's going to try and outdo his dad, Jason. So that's going to be exciting to see two Qs on the bill, but they won't be in the same race because Finley is a youngster. He does race in the Ninja Kart series, so he's a youngster, and of course he may need his dad's help if something goes wrong with the computer. So we won't see them against each other tonight.
Well, you say that we might potentially not see them together until the final. I don't know whether QE's picked up another computer. I know I've seen pictures where Jason Q was. I think he's picked himself up a new steering wheel, which is going to be interesting to see if that makes any difference to him and how things go in the race, basically. So, Adam Cochran, any chance of seeing the current points? Yes, we will have the current points for you a little bit later on. Don't you worry. Just waiting for everything to sort itself out. Still in the warm-up phase at the moment. It hasn't ticked over to the race just yet.
I was going to say something. I was looking through the Discord and the forums today. I'm not sure if I saw it right, but there is rumour that there might be someone driving a Corrado on the grid, and I'd be very excited to see one of those because I don't think anyone so far has driven a VW Corrado, and they look so good, even though they're a bit larger and more cumbersome, I think, on the corners. I would like to see one of those racing.
I know there definitely is a Corrado that is racing, and you definitely won't miss it. That's all I'm going to say for the moment regarding the Corrado. You definitely won't miss that car. It will be there for everyone to see. I believe that's being raced by one Jason Loosemore. So yeah, and you'll see what I mean when when we get to actually seeing the car. But yeah, you definitely won't miss that. So just so you guys can see a little bit of what is actually happening on screen at the moment. See here, the guys are out on track as they're just trying to sort themselves out. So you'll see a few cars moving. A lot of hard work behind the scenes by Tads has meant that the cars are now pretty much all in position at the start. There's only a couple of little shuffleabouts that will ever need to happen. That should make life a lot easier for everyone getting into position. Quite sure what all the guys are doing here.
I've just got a few in the wrong places in the grids. I've got my admin in the ear again, so they're just having to realign some of the grid positions. A couple of guys have got themselves in the wrong places.
There we go. We've all had our choices for who we think is going to do well so far this evening.
We've actually got a new gridding up system this evening that's just trying to make the admin's jobs easier, but I'm not sure whether this is what's giving the gremlins. So basically, Tad, one of our admins, is a very, very clever guy in simulated racing and a great creator. He's actually designed so that one of our other admins can basically input who is where on the grid, and then the computer should take everybody into the same place.
Should.
But it looks like, yeah, should take everyone to the same place, but it looks like maybe this is some of the issues.
So we're riding on board now with Martin, who is our pole sitter for this race. Apologies up in the top left corner, guys. We're not at Cowdenbeath. We are at Northampton. It's, yeah. It's having a bit of a time.
Slight glitch. As you can see, for those who requested it earlier, we've got the championship coming on your screens now. McFerrin obviously not here, so points to gain there, 20-point gap. That will almost certainly be eroded away. Lewis Willisey back tonight. Be interesting to see where he can sort of lift himself to. Also Cameron, who he's been doing such a good job of late. He's a little bit further down the field, but it'd be worth keeping an eye on him. Yeah, there's other consistent drivers up there as well, but yeah, who knows? We'll have to wait and see how the first couple of heats go.
So you can see all the guys should be in voice meeting, but we've obviously got people who are talking in the text chat in game, and you can see just as Dobbsy, who I don't think I've actually seen race before, is trying to work out where exactly he needs to position himself. You can see the yellow grades pulling in the front of our screen. That's no, it's not Jason Loosemore. That is Jason Loosemore
at the front of the screen. SA15. It's the only one with South Africa in front of it, I think. None of the South African drivers opted to go for that. You sometimes see that with Dutch drivers putting an H letter, sorry, in front of their number, but none so far, I think, have done it in this league. I think Jason's the first.
Just looks like we've lost Jonesy 4 off the grid. They're having issues with the new skin pack that they're unable to download, so they're trying to fix it, see if they can come back in later on, but they've just messaged the admins just to say they are struggling. So he should be in this first heat in the white.
Climbing now,
yep.
Sarah, just so you know.
They're ready to go. Yep, keep listening, and we're off.
Yellow's making a much better start through there than the white graders, although Martin has managed to stay ahead so far.
Oh, got a little bit of a tangle at the back. Difficult to see who that was. Blue car on the inside. Not sure whether the scoring on the left hand side is playing up as well, but we've got it's listing Sean Jacklin joint first. That's not right. If you ignore him, I think we are correct. It's Martin, then Dobbsy, now switching positions as I say it. Loosemore in third, with Ben Keneally in fourth.
Martin disappearing off to the infield. I think that is going to be a case of South African internet that's causing that problem there. He's been looking like he's been sliding through all of the corners so far.
Speaking of sliding, yeah, one going backwards.
And just looking at seeing who's made the progress. Just looking to see that light blue car of Cameron Willisey. I saw him making a few moves.
There's the leaders. There's Cameron Willisey there.
There he is.
Aaron McGrath just through the screen there. That's Ben Keneally in the 210 car at the back at the moment. Yannick Kalansky, I saw just there. No, that's not. That's Barry Casey that's tucked in nicely behind Cameron Willisey.
Got some good pace on them by the looks of things, and they are trying. They're definitely pulling away from the pack behind them.
8 laps gone, and I can tell you what already, other than a few what look like internet glitches, this is already proving to be a lot closer than it was last week with, or a lot cleaner, more to the point, last week.
Just got QE just climbing through the ranks, so he started back of the Reds and is already up to 8th place on lap 9.
So here we go, we're riding on board with Cameron Willisey. This is Sarah's pick for who to look out for the victory. That's Jason Loosemore ahead of him. As Dom rightly said, ignore the fact that Sean Jacklin is showing as in second place, because I can assure you he's not.
Dobbsy in the white and green car is the one who's leading, I believe. So it's 1, 2, 3 as they go down the track, and this is Loosemore trying for the lead.
Very consistent last week. It looks like Loosemore's going to take it, although that was possibly a little bit of a nudge from Cameron Willisey there that pushed him off onto the inside.
Oh, a little love tap there, wasn't it, to take Loosemore off.
And Willisey's taken advantage of that. Look, he's flown straight past Dobbsy. Barry Casey's done well for himself as well, getting up into third.
Loosemore has just about retained his position in the top 10, but just a little bit disappointing for him. He'll be ruining that mistake.
And there we go.
I'm not sure if there was contact.
I don't know what's happened to Dobbsy, but look, that's Barry Casey up into second as we come round for lap 15. This is where we're going to come round to finish the race.
Dobbsy down to 8th as we finish, so it's going to be Cameron Willisey. Oh, chaos again at the start-finish line.
Jason Loosemore was involved in that.
Barry Casey taking second, Turner 447 in third, and Tim Close in fourth with Jason Q fifth, by the looks of things.
So Sarah called it very nicely with our victor for that race, Mr. Cameron Willisey. Barry Casey was a surprise one there, coming up to second. Turner 447. And then...
Love them, we've got transporters today.
So, the results as it looks so far. Cameron Willisey in first, Barry Casey second, Turner in third, Tim Close in fourth, QE in fifth, which is a pretty good result for him. I don't think I've seen him up that high before. I could be wrong. There we go. Is that slowly sorting itself out? Yannick Kalansky in 6th, Dobbsy in 7th, Potter 79 in 8th, and Sean Jacklin in 9th. We'll wait for the confirmed results, I think, for that one. That's going to be the best one to go with. Hope that our timing picks up in heat number 2. see if I can try turning it off and on again, but I don't know whether or not it's going to work. That's the classic IT method of sorting things. No, that's made it even worse. Definitely made it even worse.
I'm glad to see that was such a good race, actually, and such a clean one. We heard last week during the interview with Cameron Willesey, we heard how this track is probably one of the more favoritised among the drivers. It's a good open track, easy to do clean racing, unlike Cowdy. I think we're in for a great night of racing ahead, but it's just a case of whether these connection issues don't spoil the party for some people. Hopefully they will sort themselves out, but at the moment a good first heat, and fingers crossed that we get more of that to come.
You sounded like you were about to say something then, Sarah. Do you know what? I'll let you go ahead with
No,
what you were about to say.
I'm reading the comments that the drivers are saying for the race meeting, and I was warned several weeks ago when I was allowed by one of the admins, who sat not too far away from me, not to read out something that might get anybody into trouble. So I refrained and changed my mind on that one. So yeah, as a few of you are noticing, there is no shale. Obviously, Northampton changed, I think it was last year, wasn't it? Changed to a shale track. There's a long history there. Used to race speedway bikes. It's been a stock car track for many, many years. Being a local lass, it's actually known locally as Brayfield rather than Northampton International Arena, which I think is the proper title for it these days. So yeah, but no shale on this game tonight. That would have made things interesting, wouldn't it?
One of the main things about as interesting as the other week when we turned around and said it would be interesting to see what would happen if it was absolutely throwing it down with rain, but with the gremlins that we've got at the moment, let's just try and get some races under our belt first before we start throwing in curveballs for everyone.
Oh, I don't know. We like to be on the seat of our pants, guys, don't we? Oh, Martin Montg is wishing all the South African boys good luck and well done. So nice to see you with us again this evening, Martin. We know you're a regular with us, so thanks very much. Michelle Loosemore, she's making some comments on the race. I think there's a family connection there, maybe from South Africa or Jason. Lots of family and friends joined in. I know usually we've got Carl Waller Barrett's mum is a regular, who doesn't appear to be a name on the list for this evening.
Oh no, it's letting the side down. Oh my! So I've just
Gabby,
seen.
you breaking things again?
No, there is the world's biggest spider crawling down the wall behind me.
I was expecting some sort of insect. I thought it was going to be a hornet or something that's just come out from a window, but when you said that, it's definitely a reaction that you weren't expecting.
But little do you know, Dom, that where Gav is sat is about 2 foot square, so he's not got a lot of room with all his computer equipment to jump very, very much. So just be nice to the spider, Gav. He won't hurt you, as I say to my children.
I'm not worried about him. I'm intrigued by the size of this thing now. I mean, he is. I couldn't even cover him with my my can of drink that I've got next to me. That's how big said spider is. But I'll leave him. Maybe he's just come along and he wants to enjoy some racing. So
absolutely, he's obviously a supporter of simulation and all things that involve a checkered flag.
Exactly. Right. Anyway, let's jump on spiders and other arachnid animals aside. We'll jump on to heat number 2, and I will let you guys take us through who is going to be running in heat numero 2.
So, for the second heat of round 6 of the OR Hot Rod Championship, we have Kiwi Junior 74 on pole. So that is the second of the 2 Q boys on the grid tonight. We then have Kian 13, Shane 228, and Darrow Walsh 160.
We have got, I believe, a John Christie family member. I think it's a cousin from what I remember previous comments. Alan Christie 959 is the front of your yellow group. Then we have Fawkes 46. Jordan Vovinkle 122, who's already been wished good luck by his supporters tonight. And Luke Loveland 220, who has been one of our interviewees in a past week.
So for the Blue Graders, we have Ashley Shaw 32 at the front with Scott 78. That is Scott Kendall alongside him. Then on the next row, we have Ronan O'Brien, I believe. Just looking at the listing, I think there's been a few changes again. And then I think it is. Oh, hang on, I think I've lost track of here. I think Stuart 931 is who I've got listed, but I may be wrong on that one. Apologies for the unprofessionalism there, but I'll make sure I get this updated next time.
Yeah, so just to confirm there, so we've got Ashley Shaw 32, Scotty 78, Stuart 931, Ronan O'Brien 715 for your Blues. So just for your Reds, we've got Dom Freeman 61, who we will be chatting to later on, or Dom will be chatting to later on. So it will be the two Doms in the box together. We've then got regular BDR 867, Wayne Woolsey 950, had a very quiet week last week, and Cian O'Sullivan rounds off the Reds.
So for the Superstar graders, we have the return of Superstock 144. That is Lewis Willisey, still, I believe, third in the championship, so he's got some gains to make. Then we have Adam Cochran 434, Charlie Elwood 46, and then Mr. Consistent at the back, Michael Barber 296.
So, for those of you who are animal lovers amongst you, you'll be pleased to know the spider is now pretty much on my shoulder. So if you hear someone else joining in with the commentating on screen this evening, then that will be Spidey, our friend, who
You've been watching too much Paw Patrol. You've definitely been watching too much Paw Patrol.
He'll be joining us there. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one. I know the guys are having a few server issues at the moment. I know that they were looking at rebooting the server, but I do have confirmed results from our first heat this evening. So here we have the round one confirmed results, or heat one, should I say. Cameron Willisey with the lead as we thought. Barry Casey in second. Turner, it's Adam Turner in the 447 car in third. Tim Close in the 89 in fourth. Jason Q in fifth. Johnny Hammond in sixth. Yannick Kalansky in seventh. Dobsy 947 in eighth. Potter 79 in ninth. And Sean Jacklin rounding out your top 10 for round numero uno. So that's how it was. Sarah very correctly predicted Cameron Willisey making an absolute charge through the field and managing to pick up his first heat victory of the evening. Anyone else other than young Cameron whose name stands out in that list for you guys?
Well, for the championship, yeah, just looking to see how it will affect them. Tim Close, it's good to see him scoring high again. He was one of the early protagonists, but he's fallen back on recent rounds. Kalansky, another one who is there or thereabouts. Yeah, Barry Casey was the big surprise of that one, though. I think we've not seen him up that high for a while, if at all. And it's good to see another driver reaching the high levels and getting a podium.
Definitely.
It's nice to see Kiwi up there again. I don't think he's had quite as good a result as that since a B final win on our opening round.
I was going to say I don't think I'd seen Kiwi scoring as highly as that. So yeah, as you said, it is good to see him getting back up and in amongst things. So just while the guys are trying to sort the server out, we're going through and let's just have a quick shout out to some of the new guys who, or in fact, they're not necessarily new, but these are the guys whose skins you'll be able to actually see this week, whereas last week they'd have been racing in the plain white cars. So Jordan Larson is running the VW Corrado. As I said, you won't miss that when that comes out. It's bright. You know, I'm not even going to say what colour it is. I'm just going to say it's bright. Very bright.
I'll be cheering for Larson throughout the evening then, because I want to see a Corrado do well. We've not seen any. I'm always a lover of the underdog, which is why I like Craig Durrant's Mini as well.
Cian Conradi is in the Vauxhall Tigra as well, number 13. That's going to be one who was racing, I believe, last week. First time we'll be seeing them in those colours. Jordan Vowinkle as well is finally in his own colours, number 22, running the Citroen Saxo. Another name from last week that you guys may recognise, Glenn Van Tonder has a skin now as well. He's running the Vauxhall Tigra. Finley Q, we've already seen his name appear on the on the list of people racing. In fact, should be racing in this round coming up. Martin, we've already seen his Vauxhall Corsa, which is in game. We've also had some updates as well to various drivers, which I know you're not a particular fan of, Sarah, because you just get used to what the cars look like, and then they go and change them all just to keep you on your toes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Unfortunately, like I know many of you guys on the admin side of things do sit on this night after night as you're, improving the technicalities of it all. I have 2 small children, trying to do homeschooling, trying to keep a home running. No excuses, I know, but I don't put as much research in as you guys. I will admit there is research, but not so much. We are just we're just hearing some updates. Bear with me, I'm listening to the admins because they've got a huge issue. So talk amongst yourselves for a moment, guys. I might have to just make an announcement in a moment, but talk amongst yourselves.
So
Sure.
what I'm going to take a chance to do, and we can have a little bit of a look through this, shall we? While we're off stream. If I let me see, if I change over to our main screen now, Don, which you should hopefully be able to see as well. Give it a second. Here we go. So this is what the front end of the game looks like. So let's have a look at some of the newer cars and that have come in, and we can. Do you know what? I'm going to ruin this surprise for you. I'm going to show you Jordan Larson's VW Corrado.
I've wanted to see a Corrado on the grid, and you've been teasing me so much.
I take it back, actually. There's 2 Corrados, which have... I don't know whether or not Kevin Casey's racing this week, but we've had 2 Corrados that have signed up. So this is the Corrado of one Kevin Casey in the 861. But let's go and find Mr. Jordan Larson and his VW Corrado. There it is.
Oh, blimey.
Oh,
yeah, you weren't kidding.
That.
Ladies and
really
gentlemen,
like
Jordan
that.
Larson's number 12 VW Corrado. You are not going to miss that car on the track. That is definitely going to be one that we are going to be shouting out constantly if you see it on the track, just because. And that's nice from a commentator's perspective, just having something different so that it really does stand out from everything else that is happening. So who else did we say we've got in? So Jordan Vowinkle is in a Saxo, so we can go across and have a look at that one. Let's find the Saxo. Here is Jordan's car. He's got another bright one as well. Jordan with a nice bright yellow Citroen Saxo there. Again, that's another car.
Loving that. Loving that.
Fan of the Saxo as well. It's the car I would use when I used to race on this game, but it's also mainly because of the Phil Spinks colours on this game. He was one of my childhood heroes on this. Well, in hot rods, it has to be said. Whenever I used to go to Vauxhall on the bank holiday Mondays, I was always watching Phil Spinks, Carl Wardley, Malcolm Blackman, Matt Simpson, drivers like that who just always stick in your memory for their on-track action and their success as well.
So we've got a new Hammond racing. Whether or not they are any relation to Johnny Hammond, I'm not entirely sure. Stuart Hammond is racing in the 931 car in the Tigra. You'll find here, which is also another nice and professionally done looking car in here. Stuart Hammond.
I am back, by the way.
Have you news, Sarah?
I do, yeah. Just to say thank you everybody for your patience, and I do appreciate there was even somebody down in Australia watching this, so thank you for your support as always. Unfortunately, R Factor Live, which is what basically runs this game, so without it we can't run, has had a massive insert word fit. And basically none of the drivers can get in to do the racing, so what they've been trying to do is kind of reboot the R Factor Live as the admins and get the guys in, but there's probably 2/3 of the drivers can't get in to the races, so they've just had a vote, and what they've decided to do, unfortunately, is for us to end tonight's stream. So we won't be doing Northampton's racing tonight, but we will postpone it until this time next week. So in one positive, it means you get us for an extra week, doesn't it? Because we'll still have all the other race meetings, but they can't get on. So obviously, without people being able to get on, they can't do the racing. So so sorry to everybody who's obviously given up their evenings. We do appreciate your support, but I mean, obviously, if you want to see some more cars, I'm going to see some lovely comments coming through on the skins and the cars that we've got. So if you want to do a few more minutes of that, obviously that would be great if you'd all like to see a few more minutes of that. But apologies that we are having to call tonight's meeting, but it will be postponed to this time next week.
And if anyone in the comments, be they a racer or someone who is just a fan of a particular driver, wants to see a certain car up on screen now, then shout it out to us either on Facebook or on YouTube, and we will have that car up on screen.
Dom, do you want to watch YouTube and I'll...
Yeah, sure. I shall just bring up the YouTube comments. I was also going to look at the Speedway TV ones, but we haven't had a huge amount of contact on there.
There's a certain Ryan
yeah.
Woolsey. You can't say your car, Ryan, because that will be coming up, and I'll be taking people through the updated skins. So shh, your car will be coming up. So do you know what? While we're going, let's go through just some of the new cars that we can expect to see. So Jordan Larson's VW Corrado, we've had a look at, and Jordan Vowinkle's Citroen Saxo. Let's have a look at. We should have Glenn Van Tonder in the Vauxhall Tigra. A lot of you guys will remember him from last week. Glenn is racing in the 62 car, which when I learn how to count will allow me to find him there. That's based on a real world car. It's not a national hot rod, but that's based on that one there.
Yes, Valley would definitely be a much earlier night. Us admins and commentators don't normally leave here until about midnight, because once the racing finishes on other weeks, we do actually carry on chatting in order to get everything sorted for the following week.
So there we go. Isabel Dean just came in on Facebook and said Jason Loosemore and Glenn Van Tonder's cars. So I've managed to get one of those straight off the bat with Glenn Van Tonder. And let's have a look for those of you who might not have seen Jason Loosemore's car in all that much detail when it was racing just a little bit earlier. There we are with the SA15. Let's see if I can get them. Maybe not quite that quick, Gav. There we go. We'll get them spinning round so that you guys can get a nice full 360-degree view of all of these cars, and I'm sure their sponsors will appreciate that as well. Nathan Horton says, "My car, please." Nathan, just for you, we will indeed show your car. Nathan,
or even Houghton. I'll help him, Nathan, don't worry. Nathan is a good friend of mine, yeah,
what did I say? Did I say
we welcomed
Horton?
last week.
Did I say Horton?
Yeah, what, sorry? Yeah, you said Horton. Houghton.
Sorry, Houghton. Right, Nathan. Anyway, me completely murdering your surname aside, let's find your Peugeot 206, because you are indeed in there in the number 35 car. I like that. There's something to be said about just having, especially if you're not basing it on a real world car with loads of sponsors and whatnot that you want to put on there. There's definitely something to be said for having a nice plain livery. And yeah, black and lime green does work very nicely. I like that one.
Sort of harks to the Monster Energy colours. They're sort of very definitive and they stand out. But yeah, nice and simple. No cluttering of sponsors everywhere. And it is definitely very identifiable. Especially like the headlights being the lime green. It sort of gives the car some real definition.
Definitely. We've got requests for Glenn Bell, Gunston Glenn, and Nick Waller-Barrett. Evening, Sandra. I hadn't seen you on there, and I had Miss Carl's name on there, but I noticed he was going to appear in the next heat, hopefully, although it hasn't worked out, unfortunately.
Right, so let's have a look. So who do we say? Someone got asking for Glenn Bell and 102. If you guys know what car they're racing, because that's not a name that I'm particularly familiar with, to be honest. Let's have a look, see what else we've got. Ricky Slater says he's all dressed up and ready, all dressed up and nowhere to go. Bless him. So I'm wondering whether or not Ricky's got his race overalls and his helmet and everything on when he races these events in the evening.
Possibly. I'm going to now get on the Online Oval Racing website. Of course, if anybody does want to join us, onlineovalracing.co.uk is the place to go to join us. Even if you don't manage to get a booking for a race meeting, as obviously This week's guys will be given the opportunity to race this meeting again next week. You can still practice during the week. And just to remind you, we have friends and family 2 till 4 p.m. on a Sunday, where your nearest and dearest can join in under your aliases if you're the registered driver.
So 102 is Ricky Slater's car. So he's all dressed up with nowhere to go. So let's pull Ricky Slater's car out. I know he's racing a Tigra.
I thought you were going to say you were going to pull Vicky Slater for a minute.
I think you. I was going to
I
say,
might
I'm not
actually
sure
be
if you're
wrong.
right. Peugeot 206.
Peugeot 206, Ricky Slater, isn't it?
CC. No, CC, I think is the one that you're after.
There we go.
There we are, 102.
We got there in the end. Let's buy his car.
Oh,
So it gets rid of the
bit
ropes.
of promotion. Just noticed something. A bit of promotion on the back for Speedword TV. Thank you for that, Ricky. Didn't realise that.
Whoop, whoop.
There we go. Look
And just
at that.
I was going to say, just for those who haven't checked us out yet, we are running a free week this week for those who are interested in looking at our website, the new and improved website. I believe it's running from Sunday to Sunday, so if you were to join and sign up to our website within that time, you get a week free trial before you're going into the full subscription. You can watch our Look Back Live events that happen on Sunday evenings. And as well as all the other features that we have online, previous race meetings. This stream obviously is free, but yeah, we've got a load of features being pumped out at the moment. Graham Woodward's Classic Races meeting, program coming out tomorrow. You get that for a whole week, and then yeah, if you're enjoying what you see, you can subscribe for the £12 a month fee, and yeah, get a whole lot more racing. And fingers crossed, we might be when things go back to normal, we might be live streaming a few things as well for subscribers. So look forward to that as well.
Now, Mr. Burke is in chat on the Facebook, and we still haven't quite worked out how the correct way is to pronounce your first name. So do you know what? I'm going to suggest to Dom that we get you on, and you can teach us all live on stream how to pronounce your first name. So do you know what? I'm not even going to try to attempt it, just so that I don't upset you at all. But we will find your car. You are in the 656 Tigra, so let's show that one off. We scroll through here. There you are, sir.
Just whilst you're finding that one, just seen a message from Jason QE. Finley is gutted. I'm sure he is, mate. He's doing so well in the Ninja Karts in real life, so I'm sure he's gutted he's not racing in real life at the moment. And I know he's been a fan of watching you each week, although you commentated when we interviewed you the other week, or Dom interviewed you, how Finley was sitting watching the stream in his bed, and finally got the chance on half-term week to actually race. So Finley, you'll be back next week, mate, and we'll look forward to watching you for the first time.
More to the point, Finley, just for you, here is your car. I'm going to spin your Tigra around on the screen. I know it's not quite the same as washing it. That's because. That's because.
No, he leaves his mum to that, I imagine. Kerry's pretty good at doing most of the jobs around there on both cars in their garages, I know.
That's because he's got Wash and Dash as a sponsor on the front. So there we go. That's managed to get them
nicely led.
a shout out on screen there. So
Little plug there.
I know it's not the same as racing it, but there we go, Finley. Hopefully that tied you over a little bit, and we've given you a shout out on the stream. We're really sorry that obviously this is happening with the racing this week, but that's the way that it goes. In fact,
you know what? I'm loving all the comments. This is looking like a really nice thing that we've done for everybody tonight. So yeah, it's really sad we're not watching the racing, but it looks like everybody's enjoying seeing the new skins and the new cars.
Now, someone called Cameron Willisey, never heard of him before, said should have a look at the Willisey cars. I've heard they're fast.
I've seen them at the front a few times, but I must have missed them.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't ring any bells for me, to be honest. But we'll have a look.
No, 143 or 144. No, they're not listed, are they?
114. Let's have a look at this 144 car. Is that one that we think Cameron Willisey would know about? I don't know. So here we go. So here we go. This isn't Cameron's. This is Lewis's car, who was rejoining us this week. He had a week out last week and back this week. So unfortunately, he's now going to have to. Well, I don't know. It could work in his favour if he can join us and race next week. So we'll just have to wait and see with that one. And I suppose if we've shown one Willisey car, we've got to show the other, really, haven't we?
Do you know what's nice? We're actually getting to showcase some of their sponsors as well. So I'm sure this isn't all a wasted effort for tonight, and definitely not you doing all these skin packs, Gav.
Cameron, what's Cameron racing? Is Cameron in the 206, isn't he?
206cc again.
CC again. There he is, number 143. Very distinctive car. You'll have seen this a few times across our broadcast, guys. The number 143 in that distinctive light blue and white colour. So we've got
What's
that in
interesting,
there.
I think, is actually the distinct differences between Lewis's and Cameron's cars, red and blue. You're never going to get them confused. It's not going to be, yeah, you're never going to sort of mistake one for the other. It's they'll both be fighting at the front. So yeah, it's good that they've got such distinctive, different colours and different cars for that matter.
So below that, Ronan O'Brien, that is another one of our drivers, has asked if he can see his car. So let's give Ronan a quick spin in his car. He's in the 715 206cc. And that's... Ooh, what's happened there? Now, the reason that I say this is because that's not the car that I was expecting to see, because I myself repainted. I myself repainted Ronan O'Brien's car, and it didn't look like that.
So he's not downloaded the new skin pack either, then?
Well, no, I have. That's the worrying thing. I downloaded it before we came in, so I'm wondering whether or not there's been an issue with that going into the game there. So that's unfortunate. Sorry for that, Ronan. That shouldn't have been the car that we were looking at. We should have been looking at your new one, which skips out all of the light green and that's on there. And
I was going to say, isn't this Ronan's third car of the series already? Because we had the plain green Corsa, if I recall, at the start.
Yeah, my car
one.
I liked.
We then skipped to this 206cc, which sort of has Irish colours, the red, not red, sorry, the sort of orange, light orange, white and green with hints of blue. And yeah, so you've got a new one on the way as well, which I look forward to seeing next week.
Erica Van Tonda, I said 62, Glenn Van Tonda's car. I think we've looked at that already, but I'll quickly...
Yep, we've got Carol Bolton, who's asking to see Tommy Chrome's car whilst it's still pristine. Are you saying that Tommy is likely to get into a few smashes, Carol?
So
the good thing about racing online is that it doesn't cost as much to put them back together again. They just press escape, go back to the pits, and they all come out looking beautiful again.
So here we go, Tommy Chrome's car. He's in the 566 Vauxhall Tigra. Here we are, looking pristine. Look, it's even still shiny and everything.
Sort of harks back. I think it reminds me. Don't know if it reminds you two of Dick Hillard's livery a little bit, orange and sort of dark grey and black.
I actually thought that earlier on, and I thought, no, I'm not going to say it because I know that Dick's not in it. Although we have got Kirkland in Billy Bonner's colours, haven't we? So you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, guys, looking through, and we've got to thank Ronan O'Brien on this, because that is the best way that I think anyone could have possibly given us how to pronounce young Owen Burke's name correctly, because he said O-N. That's how it's pronounced. Say O-N fast. So, Owen Burke.
Oh, cheers, Ronan. Thank you. I'm going to write that on my notes.
Superstar. Thank you very much for that. We'll have your car updated, and yeah, there we go.
There was me calling him Ewan last week, and I'm just trying to sort of push all kinds of names into that sort of wording, and just try and just how do we pronounce? How do we pronounce? Now it's all been cleared up.
We discussed that for like half an hour after we'd finished streaming last week, and we were reading through the comment that one of our followers had put. So thank you for that. But we still couldn't work it out, could we, guys?
No. So I'm just looking for Citroen Saxo. I'm going to be looking for. This is for Sandra, number 462. Here we go. Nick Waller Barrett's car. The number 462 car. That's not going to be one that we're going to miss on the grid as well. That's another nice bright car.
That's a really nice one. Again, I think I'm a sucker for the Saxo. It is a nice looking car. Don't see them very often now.
What's on the bonnet? Is that Taz?
That is the Tasmanian Devil.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
cool. I haven't seen him for a while.
Ricky Slater comes up with a good point and says, Gav, maybe show people the different car settings we can change, etc. I will do that. We're just going to flick through another couple of skins, and I will show people what can be done. So especially if there's any drivers who are tuned in who don't know about changing those settings, you can then go full exhibit or oh no, who was the guy who did the English version that was terrible? Pimp My Ride. That's going to bug me now.
Oh no, it's before my time.
The radio. He's a Radio 1 DJ. No, it's gone. It'll come to me, and all of a sudden I'll shout out a name randomly in the next few minutes. So yeah, you can go full on Pimp Your Ride and change all the wheels and everything, and goodness knows what else. So let's start looking at some of the cars that have changed. So I'm not going to look at Ronan O'Brien.
Sounds like the sort of thing Scott Mills would do, doesn't it?
No, it was not. Tim Westwood. Tim Westwood. And he used to speak like this, but like he was a real gangster, Tim Westwood. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And now I've said that, and you've had your ride pimped. You know who I'm talking about. Anyway.
Don't give up your day job, Gav, will you?
Do you want me to go back to doing my Scottish?
I haven't got a day job at the moment. But that's
I was
another.
going to say I can't wait for Stansted to reopen.
That's another issue. So we're going to look at David Ryan. Even that's gone. No, something's definitely gone wrong with the skin pack that Tads has got up, because I can tell you that is not David Ryan's most up-to-date car. And I bet also if I look at the 940, it's still going to be black, and it's not. So 940 Ryan Woolsey, yeah, it's the black car, so that's not right. Do you know what? Let's take a quick second. You guys chew the fat, and I'm just going to bring up so we can see a few of these cars. I'm just going to exit out, and I'm going to sort something out so that I know I've definitely got the most up-to-date cars on here.
So Johan Vorster were mentioning the setup changes, saying that he actually had some new setups and some engine tweaks. Engine tweaks on an online simulation game?
I mean, there's definitely room for gearing changes on this game. Obviously, these hot rods only have 3 gears. You're mostly in second, from my knowledge, or at least from my previous experience on the game. Testing out gear ratios is important. Although it doesn't seem like much, and that you're not going to benefit hugely with such a short straight, it is vital that you get every second out of the car. From what I've been witnessing recently in the return of NASCAR, getting a setup right is really, really important, even if it is just an oval or if it is just something what looks very simple. Setups do matter, and maybe Gav can give us a bit of an insight into that one once we've loaded back in.
So just to reiterate, Bailey, I can see your comment there, Bailey Miller. When does it start? We have had a heat this evening from Northampton, but unfortunately the gremlins on the computers have got to us. Our Factor Live, which controls this race, was kicking all the drivers out. So we had no drivers to race. So unfortunately, we've had to abandon tonight's meeting. We will rerun it next week incomplete. So Northampton will be next week's meeting, which means you get us for another week. So we just thought we'd give you all a bit of a background as we're not able to show the racing this evening. It looks like it's going down well so far, showing everybody the liveries, and we're just waiting for Gav to get in a different part of his graphic side of things, where we're going to show some of the setup features that you can have.
Just quickly reading back through the YouTube comments, we were talking about drivers racing on the shale version of this track, and or a wet version, as we were joking earlier. Shirley Upshur kindly pointed out that the National Hot Rods did race on the shale here in 2018, on the first year when it was had been shaled.
Yeah, they did. Yep.
Yeah, so again, maybe in the future, if the demand is there, we might give it a go on the shale. I know that there was. Well, I don't know. I've seen classic hot rods at Mildenhall. I don't know what these cars would be like at Mildenhall, but very different sort of shale there.
Dirty, I think is the word we're looking for there, Dom.
So here we go. This is the new and updated number 940 skin for one Ryan Woolsey. So it's quite good actually that we're getting a chance to do this, because it gives you, Sarah and Dom, a chance to see what's happened with the skins. Obviously, me looking at these all the time, I become quite au fait with who's running what skin. So this is Ryan's new and updated car. He's gone from the black and he's gone for a blue and white livery now, which I must admit I'm quite a fan of that. I think that looks I do think that looks very smart.
Nice advertisement for a certain Mr. Carl Bordley, who I know many of you see as myself as a legend in this sport.
Carl
Not on
who?
the online one. Yeah. I know he's still getting used to things, but he's hoping to join in a new touring car version of simulated racing that they're going to be relaunching soon. Obviously, Carl is now in the touring car paddock. His girls are chomping at the bit for him to join in. He's just trying to get to grips with some of the tracks he's not so au fait with still on the touring car package. But I know he talks regularly to my husband and is just getting to grips with that.
I've heard there's been a few sessions that he's been mucking about on various simulators, and like you say, trying to get to grips. I think it was Silverstone was one that he mentioned, which obviously they were running a slightly different version of or they were originally planning to run a different version of Silverstone this season. I think they've now binned that off, unfortunately. So yeah, it's interesting to see how all the simulator stuff does help real world drivers and get acclimatized with the tracks that they're going to be racing in real life. So Ryan Wolsey says, only seen this. That's nice.
I like the little touches on the end plates, the little Union Jacks in the wing plates. I know that you only see them as on the opposite sides, but that I think that's a really nice touch. All the little details is what really gets me, I think.
Yeah, because obviously in real life, you know, the guys who do the liveries and the stickers, that's a business that we were previously involved with. There's a lot of work that goes into that. I know QE Steel involved, and you know, there's a lot of guys who do the liveries out there. There's a lot of work that goes involved. You know, the drivers say, "This is my sponsor. Here's a picture of the car," but there is a hell of a lot of work that goes into liveries. So I feel Gav's pain for doing it in an online version because we've done it in real life.
Craig Durrant. I'm going to take a chance now. I don't know if he's watching the stream. I'm going to give a huge shout out to him. Not only does he race in the number 84 Mini, which I know you're a fan of, Dom, but Craig also does a huge amount of skins for drivers who request them. So I'm going to give a huge shout out to him.
Show us the Mini. Show us the Mini.
Here we go. Let's have a look. There's not many of them, so let's have a look at the Mini. And there he is.
Ah, and he's got a rainbow for the NHS. Oh, that's lovely. Last night of clapping tonight, of course.
Let's have a look and see who else. Do you know what? I'm going to go back. Right, I've got to do this just for my own sanity now.
I'm able to slow down the spinning a bit. I'm going a bit like travel.
I'm going to give it a go. Here we go. Right. I give you the... spin a little, but not that much. Spin a little.
I don't think it's possible.
Okay, just a request.
I'm trying. Do you know what? Let's just stop it.
I didn't take my quells before I came down here tonight.
Let's have the 3/4 view like that for the moment.
It's probably the best view we can get it on.
So here we go, and I'll slowly turn it myself if necessary. There we go. So here we go, Renan. Just for helping us with Owen's name, here is your updated car. So gone is the bright green that we had to start off with, and yeah, your orange, your blue, your Callan Autos and your O'Brien Autos sponsors down the side there, and your big 715.
Now, I hate to bring the name up again, but did we talk about this based on the fact it looked like Dick Hillard, or is this just me? Because this looks like his even older car when he used to run in orange, silver and blue.
The one that we were saying about, it wasn't this one. The one that we were saying about was Tommy Chrome's one that looked like Dick Hillard. But yes, I can see what you mean by this one as well.
This is another one which looks... I think it was... well, not sure when in the 2000s that he had this car, but it was a Tigra, and it was... he did race this one quite a bit, if I recall. He now races in the black and orange, which is what I think... what I was alluding to earlier. But, yeah...
By the way, you've upset the whole of Southern Ireland.
Have I?
Yes, it's orange, not yellow, on their national flag.
I thought I said it was orange, but I don't know.
No, you said yellow.
Damn it! Sorry, Ireland. Didn't mean to.
That told you. So let's make it up to them with Johnny McCoy's car.
It was actually Johnny who made the mention, so thank you for that, Johnny.
See, I upset the Scots last week with my accent, and I upset the Irish this week by forgetting or missaying my colours. So I'm doing well.
So there we go. The 148 car of one Johnny McCoy, who's down in chat.
The Speedworth logo looks really lovely on there.
Stands out, doesn't it?
Yeah, really, really smart.
On the back as well? No. Have it on the back as well. That's what we need. So let's have a look. We'll go through another couple of cars and then we'll call that a night for the evening, guys. What does Dorothy say? Dorothy says, is there any chance, or is anyway Aaron's 57 car can be changed to a new green Tiger on the start lineup screen? Yes, that will be changed as of next week. That's all set in place instead of the old blue Corsa. I'm clinging on to the old blue Corsa, Dorothy, because I did like that. That was one of my favourite cars. But let's bring up Aaron McGrath's car as soon as I can find it, because the numbers work really strange on this. There he is.
So whose car are we going to pick out then to do these change of settings, guys?
I was going to say.
Oh, yes, that's my favourite colour. Green is my favourite colour, so can we stick
Right.
with that one?
We'll do it with this one. Let's do these change of settings of Aaron McGrath's car then. So guys, if you are in the screen and you are racing and you want to change some bits and pieces on your car, you'll be confronted, and this is how all the drivers choose their car in game. So this is what you'll be confronted with. So let's buy the car and get rid of all of those ropes and everything around it. And we're going to make all of these changes on Aaron's car. All you need to do is go to this little button that has upgrades written on it. So we click on the upgrades button and this brings up all the things that you can do to your various car. The Corrado's got quite a few of them. Some of the other cars have got less changes that you can make. But, for example, we can have the rear wing either as a split rear wing like it is at the moment, or you can just have it as one big single rear wing. So you can see, obviously, that gives you a little bit more space to advertise Simpson Race exhaust there on Aaron's car.
I'm sure Matt will be very happy with that.
Exactly. You can then have the rear wing support. You can either have tube ones or A-frames. I know some of them have also got billeted rear wing supports. The end plates, you can either go for that style or that style.
I know that the Saxo has a fair few end plate styles because, again, with my attention to detail, I was poring over which shape I would prefer. Remember that one as a youth.
Then we have the bonnets. So we have the plain bonnet, which is what is on there at the moment, and then you can have the bonnet with a single inlet. So it depends how much you want to show off your Four Corners safety, health, and training consultants on the front of your bonnet there, Aaron, as to whether or not you want to have the inlet on there. And then last but not least, of course, you've got to be able to change the wheels. So you can stick with the silver mini lights that we've got at the moment. Maybe you can have a bit of gold bling.
The gold works better on that one.
To offset the green. Blue's definitely not working too well, I don't think, there.
Not with the red.
White Revos, blue Revos, green Revos.
Well, that's on themes.
Yeah, green or red, definitely green or red.
I don't know. I'm still thinking the gold looks quite nice, to be honest.
I think the first gold wheels that we had, I don't know which ones they were.
Yeah, that was the mini lights. So you've got that.
That's it.
Then red image and Wellers, and that takes you through all of the upgrades that you can make. Obviously, as we said, it varies from car to car. There's lots of different changes that you can make across each of the cars, but that's how you guys can do it. And when you race like that, everyone who is watching on the stream will see the car as you have it, as you've pimped it to be.
I don't know if you can go into a test session, Gav. I don't know if I'm asking too much of you for this one, but I was discussing earlier about setups on cars and wondering wanted to show off what sort of changeability drivers had. I don't know if you're able to do that one, but it would be good to explain to the audiences what sort of things drivers can adjust when they're going into races or practicing to sort of get the best feel of their car.
I can do that for you, Dom, just because you asked so very nicely. So
let's
go in. And
He's a very polite young man, isn't he?
We'll just go into testing, shall we? Go into testing, and why not? Let's leave it at Northampton, where we should have been tonight. This loads up. If I hit race, I can see that. I'm not entirely sure what that's a picture of that we've got set up there, and the
your feet by the looks of it, mate.
Okay. Oh, look. There we go. Look, there's Aaron in the car. But we want to look at setups. That's what you wanted to go into and find out what
So, yeah.
people can change. So if
For,
you hit
I was
escape
going to say
when you're in a
for viewers, it is obscured behind the championship standings that we still have rolling at the top.
Yes.
It's on the top line. There's a few buttons that you just can't see for now. But yeah, there is a setup and a garage sector there.
So if you hit settings, garage will allow you to then go in and you can make a setup for an individual track. So if you go into garage and then general, so as Don was talking about earlier on, you can play with all the different ratios you've got on your gears, how much fuel you have on board, how much rear downforce you want to apply, and the weight distribution from front to back. You can have the cross weight that you can move about as well. The brake
Left to right is, I was going to say, it's essential that you have all your weight on the right with a national hot rod, so I don't know anyone who wouldn't.
And then, your brake bias and your brake pressure. And then finally, you've got your diff lock with your power coast and preload settings. I won't go through talking about power coast and preload settings for everyone because that will be a guaranteed way to put everyone to sleep this evening. And then you've got your suspension. And suspension, you can change just about everything. You can change your steering lock, your toe, caster, ride heights, bump rates, rebound rates, spring rates, camber, and of course, as everyone would know, one of the first things that gets changed when you get to each track with National Hot Rod is your tyre pressure. Oh, and then you got the track bar. I didn't even know they'd snuck the track bar in down at the bottom. So there is quite a lot that you can actually change, and I think the guys who made this mod tried to keep it as true to life as possible in that you can change the sorts of things that you would change in a National Hot Rod in the real world. So yeah, those are all the settings you guys can go through. If you want to get a car set up, then I'd talk to one of the drivers who race for us because they're probably a lot better at being able to set a car up to go around some of these tracks than I am, that's for sure.
I want to say thank you to Owen Burke, who's just put a lovely message to us to say, Owen, it's just Owen in Irish. Thank you. We really appreciate that. We've been struggling. We didn't mean to offend in any way, but thank you.
There we are, and you do realise now that it's every time we see you on track or that you mention, a comment in Facebook or on YouTube, that it will be, oh, it's Owen, just because we now know how to say your name properly. So we will be milking that. So definitely feel free to bask in the love there now that we know how to pronounce your name properly. So guys, it's been unfortunate that we've not been able to enjoy much racing this evening. We got to see one heat, and it's definitely shown Northampton is probably going to be a lot cleaner for racing than what we saw last week. Yeah, I don't think there's much else that we can say other than a huge thank you to all of you guys who've tuned in and watched us, especially those who've stuck with us waffling on and just spinning cars around on screen. That's been quite amazing. Still having you guys in here to chat with. So, Sarah, Dom, I'll leave you to say your goodbyes to our very loyal followers and viewers, and then we'll wrap it up for the evening.
I feel in the love coming through on these messages, and I definitely feel that our feature of showing some of the skins and showing off some of the cars and obviously the changeability with the setups, I really feel has been a highlight of this evening. A real shame, as we've said, that we couldn't race. But if there's anything that you guys want to see, you are our followers, you are our supporters. We appreciate you coming back week in, week out. We can see the same names coming up, but we welcome the new ones. Please, please, please let us know if there's anything we can do to help you. Then please let us know, and obviously we can try and organise. We can't reinvent the wheel completely, but we've tried to recolour them at least. So if there's anything you think that we might be able to do to add to our broadcast, then drop us a note. We're always happy to hear from you. So we look forward to joining you again for round 6 at Northampton. I feel like I've said that before somewhere.
It's déjà vu. Yeah, it was good one race that we had. It was exciting, and we got to see usual faces coming through. It's going to be a competitive race for me, or it's going to be a competitive meeting when we get to run it in full. But just a little bit unfortunate tonight. Things not working in our favour. Fingers crossed we get it all sorted for next week and we can run a full meeting of Northampton. But yeah, it's really been enjoying this last half hour, even if it's not been on the racing, been just sort of giving drivers the appreciation, giving the skin makers the appreciation, and really just showing what goes on behind the scenes on this channel and within this league, giving all you guys out there a good idea of what goes on.
So another one, because I can see we've got quite a lot of drivers in the chat, and it's going to be a little suggestion which will just help make everything, I don't know, give people a little way to show off while we're all still predominantly locked down in and around the UK. Send in on Facebook, send us in your pictures of where you race. So whether you've got a rig, whether you race at a desk, send it all in. I'm compiling a few of them for people who've sent me them so far. And hopefully next week in between races, I'm going to try and do a little feature where I can just show off where you guys are all racing when you come and join us week in, week out. And it'll just give everyone a little chance to show off, what they've got and their own little bit of individuality. And it'll give us something to talk about as well. But guys, as we've said before, absolutely amazing to have your support. We thoroughly enjoy coming back every week and commentating for you guys, seeing your comments on Facebook, on YouTube. Those are the two places that you can find us. And if you're interested,
Speedworth TV. Don't forget Dom. He'll chuck his toys out of his pushchair. Bless him.
Do you know what? I was going to do a whole different Speedworth segment at the end. To be honest, I was going to point people over there because we're not doing any racing tonight, and if they wanted to get their fill of racing, from the real world or virtual world, that they could go and check out Speedworth TV, where you can very much fill your boots and see every different kind of short oval racing that you might possibly want to see. But I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Dom.
No. I pretty much said all that I've really got to say earlier. But the free trial ends this Sunday. So if you're really interested in what we do, if you want to see some short oval racing, we've got archive stuff up. We've got special shows going up, interviews. Shane Davies was last week. We've got Jack Overy. His show is coming on Monday. There's so much going on. We've had John Christie on there as the big hot rod name. He opened the series. Just if you're interested, want to have a listen or look or relive some of the best moments of the hot rod world, Graham Woodward did a fantastic show. Go in and have a look on the site and make use of that free trial while it's still there.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're that way inclined, feel free to go outside to your front door and give yourself a big clap for all the support that you have given us over the current 5 weeks, and we very much look forward to bringing you a full and functioning round 6 next week, 8:30 Thursday night. It'll be amazing to see you all then. Until then, keep yourself safe. We look forward to seeing you.